Now I'm rolling.
Okay, and we're rolling.
Okay. All right, here we go. Welcome to episode 2 of the Pawncast. This is Michael Fernandez. I am from Chicago, and we got J-Roll San Jose
Los Angeles, baby.
from LA.
West Side.
Midwest Coast is what we're rocking. So we're doing episode 2 now. To be honest, we don't even have episode 1 up yet because we're still figuring out the technical difficulties of casting across the country, right? But it is tough, but we're figuring it out. I think we'll get a setup that works all the time soon.
Yeah, I think also just time in general, trying to
time in general, yeah. I mean, that's okay. I think we're figuring that. I mean, it's really just this technical stuff that's pissing me off. I got this like second monitor arm because I got the double monitor arms, but I'm only using one. Maybe I can like attach the camera to that second.
Ooh, and then you can really get it.
I can really move it in and out. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. Okay. Anyway, all right. Go ahead. So what are we talking about today?
All right, so we're going to bring you some news, some stuff we've seen on the internet, some stuff we've heard, some articles. Could be anything. Could be about anything. But obviously for us, it'll just be about humans in general and kind of, I wouldn't say pop culture, but just humanity, social justice, political, all that good stuff. We're going to talk about some current projects we're working on. That's just anything really what we're working on. It doesn't technically have to do with Pawn Collective, but
right.
That's what we will bring forward most of the time. But if each of us, we work separate jobs as well. We're both freelancers, so maybe there's some good stuff we could talk about there as well.
Probably not. I think anything good I'm doing under Pawn. You know.
True that. True. And then today's main shindig is going to be we're going to actually bring up the question of whether what we're doing is worth it. Is it worth it for you guys? Is it worth it for us? What are the ramifications? Is it worth it for the people that we're going to be talking about? And then obviously in the Fuji Corner, our camera gear section, we're going to be talking about focal lengths. Bigger is not always better.
Wow. Focal lengths, dude. This is
Is a dick joke bad taste? I don't know. I heard it is.
No, that was a really good dick joke.
Okay.
It was one of the best ones I've ever heard. No. Focal lengths are going to be contentious. I think we're going to get the most comments on that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
All right. Here we go. Let's jump right in.
Okay. First order of business. Our new, what is his name? What is the social justice chair? I can't.
Social judge. I wish. Supreme Court justice.
Nominee, yes.
Oh, there it is. Look at that. Look at that fucking
Kavanaugh.
Brett Kavanaugh. He looks like a real white guy.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, I don't have much. I mean, you can read all that stuff. I don't have much to say about him. I think he's just regular old stooge. He's just a fucking idiot. Which is what we expected, right? I mean, I don't expect anything different than that. What do I expect? But I do think that third bullet point, man, that's the one.
I'll read it out here for you guys.
Believes that the president should be immune from criminal charges. That is why I think Trump picked him.
That makes perfect sense. We should maybe move that to the top of this.
I think that's number one. Roe v. Wade's going to be hard. I mean, everybody keeps talking about Roe v. Wade, and I do think, as I said, I think I said last time, that's going to be a problem. But
it's going to take a lot of time.
It's going to take. We're going to fight that to the end, and I don't think that's going to. I don't think that they're going to at least federally be able to overturn it. I do think states are going to be allowed, or going to be given the right to overturn it if they want to, but I don't think that that federally they can do it. However, the president being immune, the moment they subpoena Mr. fucking Tiny Hands, he's going to go to the Supreme Court, and this fucking stooge right here is going to go, well, I don't think that a sitting president should be able to be subpoenaed.
I'm glad you brought that up because I wasn't even thinking about that, and that makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
And Trump's such a smart guy, why wouldn't he do that? Okay.
I mean, he is a snake. So gotta give him that at least.
Dave Chappelle special. You want to just talk on this? I haven't seen it.
Just, it's not even news. I just saw it the other day, and I just wanted to say, in this first Dave Chappelle special, in the first one, he made some jokes about trans people that nobody liked.
No,
and in this one,
there was one that was kind of good.
And you know what? He addresses. My point is, he addressed. So okay, let me tell you what I think about him. Right, I think that the trans jokes weren't meant in malice, and some of it was funny. It always is. He's a very funny guy.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it was uninformed. I think some of it was uninformed. And I think that if he had just run them by some people of the trans community that are friends with him, if he has any, I think he would have been better off. I think he would have done, I think he would have not had any of the problems. And in this new one, he addresses it. And I think he kind of figures these jokes out in a way that he can properly tell them and not be offensive.
That is true. I think now that you're saying that again, that was kind of my thing, was I kind of watched it and I was kind of like, you kind of went a little too hard there, buddy.
Right.
We haven't seen you in so long and you're going really hard.
Right.
I couldn't, some of it, like you said, is you can't even get a laugh from it because you're just like, oh.
Yeah, I guess to me, I thought that
stop.
Somebody mentioned punching up versus punching down, and it's that didn't seem like he was making a joke about, how he makes jokes about Mexicans that are offensive, but they're not mean spirited, and some of that stuff felt kind of
true.
Your life choice is stupid, and I think it's funny that you made this weird life choice. You know what I mean? Yeah. So in this new one, I think he does a decently good job about coming back at it. He doesn't actually apologize, which is whatever. But I don't know. I mean,
well, must just be the energy and how he presents himself. So I'm happy to hear that, because it was. I would agree with you that it was kind of a little too much at some points.
Yeah. He addresses it well, and he goes hard on Trump, because I guess people were saying from the last special they thought he was. Did you hear remember the news? It was Dave Chappelle's a Trump supporter.
Oh, I didn't hear that.
Dude, it came out after one of his live shows. Somebody saw the live show, but it wasn't recorded, and they were he did these jokes, and he's a Trump supporter, and he's not at all. And he told the jokes that he told that the reporter heard, and they just obviously blew it out of proportion. But then he went on to SNL and did that thing where he was we got to give him a chance, and everybody gave him shit about that too. And he was straight up I shouldn't have said that.
It's why?
He was I don't know. He said it in the thing. He's I don't know why I said that. Yeah, that was stupid. So I mean, I think he did a good job coming back from it, and he goes hard on Trump in this next one, which is amazing. There's this one part where he's the guy, he's oh, I'm walking around my neighborhood ever since people said I was a Trump supporter, and once somebody, I'll have a guy come up to me and go, hey, Dave, how's your boy doing? And Dave's he's not my boy.
In that voice.
Yeah, exactly.
That Dave Chappelle voice.
Yeah, it's great.
Well, everybody check it out. I'm definitely going to check it out. I love Dave Chappelle, so.
It's good. The second half is not even a comedy show. The second half is a getting real talk. He doesn't even do very many jokes in it, so it's good. It's a philosophy talk, and politics talk, and then the first part's mostly jokes. So cool.
Okay, the next thing is a doc that I saw in the theaters last week called This Is Congo. I'm just going to give a synopsis. I don't really want to give it away, but I think if anyone has a chance to see it in the actual theater, go see it, because visually it is just amazing, unbelievable.
So where did you see it?
I saw it at I always butcher this theater name, Les Mel's, I believe. There's this one theater here, it has three theaters inside of it, but they do docs there apparently. It's the first time I've ever been there.
Cool.
It only showed for a week, so I don't know what are the chances of people seeing it in the theater, but if you do see it, go see it. This movie, I guess it took them 3.5 years living in the Congo, living with these people. Just a great documentary, and it's obviously about the Congo if you don't know anything, which like me, I now know a shit ton. And Yeah, it's just a war-torn country, and I think it really relates to just the world in general, and obviously has to do with money, which is why.
Yeah, Congo's super fucked, and that's where we get all our phones. That's where they get all the shit for these. So
yeah, all the minerals are there. So
yeah, so of course it's going to be contentious because they got shit we want, white people want.
Right. I think the guy even says, the guy says like one of the best lines. He says that Congo is the richest in minerals, but it's like one of the poorest countries, like in terms of the people actually living there. So it's interesting.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. Oh, okay. I saw this video on Facebook last night. Should we play the whole thing? It's only a minute long.
Oh my god, yeah. Let's play it and we can talk over it a little bit. But I mean, there's not much of.
I'll just pause it after the first couple.
Out here today.
Yeah.
You just tried to hit me with the car.
I can't even hear the audio, which is fine. But
I'm just saying.
Nobody lock you up for walking in the street.
I ain't do nothing.
You're walking in the street.
I'm walking across the street.
Illegally.
I'm walking across the street and I'm recording.
Illegally.
No, it's not.
All right. He mentions killing people.
that's the first thing he says. Like, he hit record like right when he says, "I'll kill motherfuckers around here" or something like that. And it's like,
okay,
like
great.
Like, what does that guy think? What does that guy think? Like, and I hope he, right, serve and protect, yeah, like terrorize and threaten. Like, it just doesn't make any sense to me. They're not doing anything. And then he's like, "Oh, you were trying to cross the street, or you're walking in the street." It's like, it's a fuck. Like, would you ever say that to a white person on the north side? Yeah. Ever? No, you would fucking never, ever fucking say that. Why do you say it to that guy? And it's just so annoying. And I'm sure
I like how the kids dealt with it, just recording it and kind of going about their way. Yeah, and the guy was obviously annoyed because he gets out of the car. And he follows them, and
they did a great job of
touches the phone. Anything. He goes over, like, kicks the kid's shoe. Like,
they think they should be able to do whatever they want because they went through this fucking academy, and they think they just have the right to do whatever they want, and it is so insane, and it will not change under this administration. So I don't know.
It's tough, and it's sad that I can literally probably go down a rabbit hole for 24 full hours just watching videos of people recording cops doing this kind of stuff. And granted, being a cop is not easy. I am not.
But that doesn't give them
that's not.
I don't care how hard it is.
Yeah.
That people mention that, and we feel like we have to mention that because everybody's defending Blue Lives Matter and cops who have a hard job, and it's like yeah, they do have a hard job, but a lot of people have a hard job, and they don't treat people like shit because of it.
And they're not killing people, and
they're not killing people and treating people like shit because they have a hard job.
Yeah.
So just lay off of that shit. If you don't want to treat all people with civility, don't become a cop.
Yeah, true. Okay, again, our last thing for the news: the Thailand Warthog soccer team rescue.
Dude, can you pull up that the chart? I want to just. Oh, that one's good though.
Oh, the chart. I don't have the chart. We should have pulled the chart up.
Let me see if I can find it. I'll send you the link. But you go ahead and talk.
Okay, let's talk about this. So, if you have been living under a rock. Sorry, too soon. These Thailand soccer team, kids ages from, I believe it was 12 to 16, and their coach were hiking inside of a cave. Okay. And it's monsoon season there, and the cave filled up with water, so they got stuck in the cave because there was channels inside of this cave to where you would have to swim holding your breath and squeezing through tight spaces where they literally said you would have to be pencil-like. Anyway, I saw this cartoon as well. I think it's pretty telling of kind of the United States, and it's obviously a child detention center, and they're watching the news, and it says, "Breaking news, Thailand boys reunited with family." And then it's got just kids hanging out on the floor. There's one kid in the back who's like crying. Like hysterically crying, and then there's the officer who's just not really paying attention or looking or anything. It's kind of fucked up, really.
It's a great comic. It's a great comic, man.
The whole world is is excited and happy about these Thailand boys being saved. Yes, everyone is happy, and then we have 5,000 kids in the United States who are separated from families and
They're in their own cave, man.
indefinitely separated from their families.
Still in their own cave, yeah. Fuck. That link I sent you though, I just really find this shit so insane. I sent it on. I know I sent it on the chat. The talking
yeah,
chat.
that should work. That works. Let's see the chat. Okay, here we go.
Dude, it's just crazy. So like, that's where they had to get through. So it's like 3 different water areas, right, where they had to get through, and that narrow flooded passage, they had to swim through there, and to get through there, they have to take off their air bag, their air tubes or whatever they are, the canisters. They had to take them off while underwater, send them all through separately, and then put it back on and get out. It's like, oh my God,
It's unbelievable.
just
man.
insane, just
They
unbelievable.
did an
Great
incredible job.
I
They did
mean,
an
of course,
incredible job.
yeah,
Sure.
yeah.
I know they lost one life to it doing
Yeah.
the rescues.
They lost the Navy SEAL, yeah.
Yeah. Granted, it saved 13 other lives, so
Right,
it's,
for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway,
yesterday I went up to the detention center. There was supposed to be some MAGA people doing some counter protesting at Occupy LA, and guess what?
what happened?
They didn't show up.
It turns out it's a lot of effort to just fucking troll people
Yep.
that give a shit. about
Little
something.
did they know. They were gonna show up and counter protest because yesterday was, I guess now my favorite holiday. I'll put it in my phone. Ice Appreciation Day. Oh, appreciate those ice guys. They're so
I've been
nice.
wanting to do like a meme, like make a 3D render or something, or some sort of image or animation, but like melt ice and like do like an ice uniform with like a
Okay,
puddle of
that's
water
good.
around it or something.
Yeah, that's nice. They had hashtag melt ice at the Occupy.
Melt ice is tight. I like that as a hashtag.
So they didn't show up. That kind of threw me off because I was like, all right, I'm going to get some MAGA guys. That's always kind of fun to hear all the bullshit and stupid stuff they say. So they didn't show up, and it turns out there was a migrant from Guatemala named Ermelindo Chekak, and he was having a hearing with ICE agents at the immigration building. And he happily... Well, I wouldn't say happily, but he let us interview him, and we had we got to ask a couple questions and kind of learn about why he was here and kind of the inside of what goes on at the ICE and the border patrols, which is kind of stuff that we always try to look up, right, Mike? And we don't really know, you know?
Yeah, they keep it pretty locked down. I liked what he was saying. I mean, I don't know if you have to play the video now, but we could put a link. Are you gonna put that video up? Did you record that?
Maybe we'll post it. Yeah, we'll post it.
Yeah, you should post that. Just put it. You should even put it on the IG almost, because
Yeah, true. Let's
I
do that.
love that video. Just him talking about and just like tearing up because. Surprise, it sucks when they steal your kids.
Oh, who'd have thought? These people are fucking saddened to the worst possible ways. And yeah, so his story is this, he got to El Paso. They took his kid, didn't tell him what they were doing with the kid. He signed paperwork. He doesn't speak English or read English, but he signed it anyway. Thanks,
oh my
guys.
God.
Cool.
Oh my God.
Thanks for the due process. Just sign here, sign here.
Great.
So who knows what he signed? It could be anything. I would love to see the form where he just signed away his fucking rights or whatever.
Yeah, what did you trick him into signing, you fucking assholes?
Okay, so they signed him. He got sent to LA. And the kid is in New York at a detention center. He actually has an ankle bracelet on, so he actually lives somewhere. He's not at an actual detention center.
Why would you keep his kid away from him? Why? Like, why?
Because, bro, he needs to They need to teach him a lesson for
They
coming over
think
here.
they think it's because now they're using the rhetoric that it is we don't want to make sure that they're their parents. We want to make sure that this is the actual kid's parents.
Please.
Are you fucking serious?
Please.
Are you serious?
I have been reading, I mean, everybody's been reading about this, but getting to meet this guy and be in front of him and hearing him speak it was tough. I find myself shooting with teary eyes a lot these days behind the camera.
You gotta get more, solid, thicker skin, man.
Yeah, I guess, man.
You gotta stop giving a fuck.
That's true. I'm just there to work. That's what I should think. Here's a photo of all the journalists. Everyone's excited. He's speaking. He had a translator because he didn't speak a lick of English. This was right before his hearing. So I sent him a letter saying that he had to come to a hearing. So the worry was he was about to get deported, which means if he got deported, he was basically never going to see his kid ever again, right? Okay.
Mm-hmm. Great.
So that was his biggest fear, obviously. These are some Los Angeles priests praying for him. All got their hands on each other, trying to give him some positive energy. I
am not a religious man, but that is a nice photo, dude.
Yeah, it's actually the other photographers that were there. This is the one they posted. This was the one I posted. Something a little different.
That one's great too, man.
I just like that you can see the actual emotion in his face, apart from this one.
Yeah, that one's great. That one's awesome. You got in under there, man. Look at you.
I was there. Different angle, dude. Really close to 24 mil.
Nice.
Yeah. So okay, and then just to kind of sum it all up, he went to the hearing and ICE had no paperwork or any information on his case or on him. So he got they just were like, okay, you can leave. We'll reschedule. They had no paperwork. They didn't even. They were like,
of course not. Of course not. They want to upset people. They don't want to actually process anybody.
It's horrible.
That's not part of the plan. Yeah.
And luckily, I guess with that news, the attorney is working really hard to fly his kid back here. His kid's going to turn 7 next week or in 2 weeks, and they're hoping to get him here before his 7th birthday to be reunited with Hermelindo here. So,
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, tough stuff.
I hope it works out.
Yeah, and I think it will. The attorneys seemed they were ecstatic when they came out. So.
All right, so on to our main topic today, something that we wanted to talk about because I think starting this whole thing, we thought to ourselves, hey, is this going to be something people are interested in? The thing that started the topic for us was, and I guess what we're calling the topic is what we're doing worth doing? And I think the easy answer is yes, right? We're helping point to things that people don't necessarily see all the time or know, good and bad, and that's useful for sure. But is it gonna be worth it in other respects? Not just in the humanitarian aspect, but in the monetary aspect. Because and Ajero will contest. We're not trying to get rich off of this. We're just trying to support ourselves so we can do more of this, right?
Right.
And what does that turn? Does that mean like we're a nonprofit at some point? Maybe we can get grants at some point if we're doing good work. Or does that mean we get funded by somebody? Or are we just selling these stories to news outlets when we get them finished? And are we going to fund it that way? And also, is it worth it in that, like, are people going to want to see this stuff? I mean, the news is hard to test that with because it's often stories that are, like we focus on those like Thai cave kids, which is a great story, but it's, it could have been a sad story and it wasn't. But I think people want that like hero story, and like some of this stuff doesn't end as happily as that.
Just doesn't happen.
Some of it doesn't end. I mean, we talked last time about this Haitian project we're doing with the refugees, the Haitian refugees in Tijuana, and that's just not going to end for them. It's going to get better, hopefully, over the next few years, but it's not like it's all going to work out, especially not in the next few years. So I guess, the question is, like, is the kind of thing we're focusing on worth it? Is focusing on these stories worth it? And do people want to hear it, right?
Yeah. And I think, like, the reason why we bring it up and what we want to talk about is, like, when we went to Tijuana, we experienced something that, like, we knew we were going into a bad situation, and we knew it was going to be desperation for these people, but, like, being there, and it obviously it changes you. It changes your mindset. It makes you look at your own life and realize how lucky you are. And we came back from that, and, like, when people ask, "Hey, what'd you do this weekend? How'd it go?" You know, and I'm like, "Oh, I went to Tijuana, saw some Haitian migrants," you know, and they're like, "Ooh, is it bad?" It's like, yeah, and then that kind of just ends there.
They don't want to hear it.
There's no question of, like, what are they gonna do next? Like,
right.
Like, how did they get there? Why are they there?
Right.
There just isn't any more drive from people to know more about it, other than, is it bad?
It's
bad.
I literally, like, brought it up with some friends, and, like, it just sort of gets washed over. Not like, why did you go to I didn't even mention that it was Haitian refugees. I was just like, oh, I went to Tijuana for a documentary, and and I think maybe I did mention refugees, but it was like no follow-ups. Just move on to the next topic. And it's like, that would not be the case if somebody went to Prague and saw a museum. They would be like, what museum did you go to? That's awesome. I love that place.
How was the food? How's the food there?
Right. And it's a sad story, so that makes sense. But I also brought it up at a wedding recently. And the person asked, like, what do you do for a living? And I kind of explained, and then I said, like, I'm trying to start this new thing where I do more journalism stuff. And she was like, oh, and I went into, we went to Haiti, and there's refugees there, and they're there, and she kind of asked some questions, and then I was, like, telling her, and then she just went, like, last week I went to the Bahamas. Oh, cool.
Great.
How was that? It was nice. It's beautiful there.
Yeah.
It's like,
of course,
and that's fine. I mean, that's fine, right?
Yeah,
that's great.
It is
that's
fine.
A good but I don't. But
that's and that's why we're asking, right? Like, do people, do we have to, like, push it into their faces? Like, it's kind of like the family separation thing. Like, I feel like people care more because it's been, like, the last month and a half is, like, every day something new. Here's this, here's that. Look at this photo, look at this, look at this. And we're not going to be doing that in that sense. And, like, if we go to, say, Puerto Rico, like, we're going to try to make a video, we're going to do photos and all that stuff. Like, is that going to be enough to change at least one person's mind? Is it? Is the heartache?
One person for sure. I mean,
for sure.
I hope
somebody,
one person.
Somebody we don't know. I can easily change someone I know. I'm sure of that. But, like,
I don't know. Sometimes I feel like that's even harder.
Maybe not. Yeah. And
I don't know. I mean, like, so just to bounce off of that, I feel like, is it a matter, or just a question, I guess? Is it a matter of how we frame it?
Maybe. Yeah, maybe.
Like, is it maybe, we did the Serve to Unite thing for Nation Swell. That's a website that does sort of, stories about social justice stuff, but they're all, like, their focus is, like, these happy stories. They are always, like, good people doing good things in their community, which is great. Like, I'm not discounting that at all, but there's more to it. There's more to the story than that,
yeah, without happiness, you have to have sadness, right? There has to be a balance of something. So, yeah, it's just, for me, it's just, I know after being at the refugee camp and then like seeing for myself like a person that's experiencing family separation and stuff, like it sinks your heart and it changes your perspective. And I was saying this to you earlier, like are we going to be able to tell these stories and like be still be happy about our lives and about the world and all this stuff by putting ourselves in these situations and being with these people who will never probably see the life that we get to live?
I mean, I think it's only going to, for me, I mean, I can't speak for you, obviously. I think for me, it's only going to solidify, it's going to make me a better person, and it's going to solidify being appreciative of what I have every day, and not losing sight of that. The fact that all the bullshit, like don't let your things own you, and you hear that a lot, and like, oh, you need to get out into nature and you need to center yourself, and it's like, the best way to do that is to see people who can't do it, and to see them who can't ever take a moment to themselves to center themselves, or take a moment to consider doing something else other than just working 2 jobs so that they can make enough money to eat.
Right.
I think it's going to make me more appreciative of it. I think it's going to make me I think it's already made me a better person, just in that I'm more empathetic and I'm more appreciative. And I only think that'll it's going to be hard. I think you're right too. I think it's going to be hard, but
it's going to be hard not to hate the reasons why this stuff is happening.
And there's plenty of things there's plenty of things to hate, and we should. I mean, I talk about this all the time, on social media. I hate Amazon. I hate it so much. But like, I don't mind that people do like Amazon and want to use it. But what I don't get is the defending Amazon.
Yeah, sure. Sure.
I don't I get it if you're saying like, oh, it's it sucks, but I have to use it. I need it because I run a business, and that's the cheapest way for me to get my stuff out or get stuff to my business, or just I'm busy at home and I have these things set up on auto deliver because I don't have any fucking time.
Yeah.
I get it. Like I do not judge you for that, but to then go, hey, like, how do you I just lost my train of thought. Sorry. So like, then to say like, how can you say that? Like, Amazon, like, don't talk about Amazon. Like, it's really good. It's good. It's a good product, and I like using it. It's like, but then you're just ignoring all the shit they're doing. You're just ignoring it. And I say at minimum, just at least acknowledge it.
Yeah.
Right. Anyway,
I like that thought, because I think that kind of answers the question. Is like, it may or may not be worth it, but it is worth it to bring it to light, because people are oblivious, and maybe they're just not thinking, So
I think that, and I think it's that like obliviousness on purpose, right?
Yeah,
it's like,
yeah. Just what
ignorance is bliss, right? It is. Like, if you don't have to think about how Amazon treats all their employees like garbage. Then you can just go on with your life and buy your things and go to your things and feel good about yourself. But life is more complicated than that, and we need to. I think it's good to make people see it. From another point of view, I think one of our purposes is to try and make it fun, right? Try and make it more approachable, because I think that if it's a difference between hearing somebody go, the meat industry is absolutely disgusting, and here's all the disgusting images from the meat industry. And it's a different thing to be like, I mean, have you seen those videos where the hot dog makes? It's fucking gross. I mean, it's just like, ew. Like,
it's
ew.
There's a Snoop Dogg one that's really good. Where Snoop Dogg has to guess what they're making, and he can't figure it out.
That's so awesome. I love it. Yeah, it's like make it funny, because it is. It's fucking funny how gross it is. It's funny how awful it is, and making it funny, making it approachable, making humanizing. I think like one of the things that maybe we didn't even focus on too much on the Haitian one that I think I would love to focus on in the future is just humanizing these people. I wish I had recorded longer and talked through the time when you were trying to get the guy in Tijuana. You're trying to send him a picture on your phone to his phone, and he like couldn't explain what his email was.
It was bad. It was bad.
Right. It's like
there's
funny,
even like there's even like a part where like we're exchanging numbers, which is like universal, right? And we still
right.
like, and it wasn't just him. Like it's me and him, and I'm like, I'm not. I know what I'm doing, but I guess I don't. I'm gonna bring him a print when I go back.
You got to bring that printer though. You got to bring that printer.
We'll bring that.
So.
I think if anyone watches, like, let's hear your thoughts. Do you want to see this?
Yeah.
Do you believe in this? Do you believe in are documentaries still a thing? Do people go out and watch documentaries?
I think they do. They do. I hear a lot of people who are like, I don't go to see too many movies, but I really love documentaries. They're really great. And what's encapsulating about documentaries is that humanizing of this topic that maybe you didn't typically see. So,
and when I say documentaries, I mean I'm not talking about murder porn. Just okay, that does not count.
You're not talking about
real life CSI is not a document. That's not what I'm talking about.
People are so into some of those podcasts where they just talk about like horrible murders.
Yeah.
Like what's that murder one?
I don't know, murder period.
Yeah, it's like I mean, people love that shit, which is fine. You can love whatever you want.
It's called Serial.
Oh yeah, Serial.
Yeah.
But it's entertainment. It's not.
Yeah.
Like what do you
exactly.
You're not. It's one anecdote. It's not like a systemic. I guess the Serial maybe goes into the systemic problem with the penitentiary system, which, but I don't think it goes into it very deeply.
Sure.
But anyway, yeah. So I don't know. It's all fucked.
Yeah, it's all fucked. Per usual.
So let us know what you think, and I honestly, I mean, maybe people have insight into why. I try to think back to before I was sort of like awake, to this stuff, and like, why didn't I want to hear it? And I don't know if it was that I didn't want to hear it. I think it was that not many people were saying it. So
I think it's that, and I think it's like you don't want to be judged, and I think that's part of it too. Is you don't want people to judge you for things that you believe in, even if it's good.
Is it that you don't want people to? You don't want to believe that it's as bad as it is?
And that too, yeah.
Right?
All of that. It's all a mind game. It's all a mind game.
Right.
We'll figure it out. We're going to bring it anyway, regardless of what we think. We just want
our angle is we're going to go hard. So, hope you're ready.
Yeah, not as hard as Dave Chappelle, but...
Dude, he went hard on that new one too, on Trump. It was so funny.
I can't wait. All right. Here's the fun part. Welcome to the Fuji Corner.
Welcome to Fuji Corner. This is where we talk all things Fuji. Actually, we're not going to talk about all things Fuji. We might talk about just general,
just camera.
Just camera stuff, gear,
stuff.
how we do what we do,
Why we do it, why we love it. Today's topic,
right.
Focal length.
Ooh, this one's going to be contentious. People have a lot of opinions about focal lengths.
Mm-hmm. Okay, ready? 3, 2, 1. Favorite focal length. Go. 3, 2, 1. Go.
25.
Ooh, same stuff.
I don't know why I said 25 because I'm using a 25, but typically it's 24. 24 is the best.
It's best both worlds.
Why do we agree on that so hard?
I'm not
24
sure.
is great. 24 is great.
It's fantastic.
Why is it so good?
It's just wide enough.
What are you shooting on right now?
24.
I'm shooting on. I think I'm shooting closer to 18 because I got the speed boost. I got the speed booster on.
I just like gives you a lot of environment and makes the person kind of pop because they're like kind of oblong looking. I know people are like, oh, you want people to look like people. I mean, they still look like people if you do it right, but it gives you sense of place and like closeness.
Yeah, I felt like that and when we were shooting that thing with Gustavo, when I was following him around, I was using the 25, and it just perfectly cut him out of the background. Like, I don't know what it was. It was like the slight depth of field in the back, and like he just perfectly popped right off the background. It was great. So that stuff will be in the video. But
yeah, when we're talking, I guess we're gonna be. I mean, if we're gonna talk Fuji, should we talk in crop sensor focal lengths then?
I mean, we're just talking in focal lengths. If you want to talk crop, if you're using a crop or you're using a not crop, it's just going to be
okay. Yeah, 35
slightly
millimeter
bumped
equivalent basically is what we're talking.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm talking 25 on a crop. We're talking a crop sensor, so 25 on a crop sensor.
Okay.
Is
So
25 on a crop sensor.
Then I'm talking about a 16 on a crop sensor. That's what I was talking about.
You're talking about a 16 on a crop sensor.
Yes.
Yeah, so I'm using the 25. I'm using the 24, but it's 18.
Okay. Yeah.
So,
Gotcha.
So technically,
So it's the same.
It's 18.
So it is the same.
So yeah, I like that wide. I like that super wide look.
Me too. It's tougher. It's harder. That's the other thing too. It's harder to have it look good.
Right.
It is.
I used to love 50 for some reason. I don't know why. When I was really early on in video, I used to love the 50 mil.
I still love 50 mil.
And that was on full frame, so it wasn't as close, but
I think that focal length is good for like portraits. The problem with it is you can't really get the background. Like it's kind of
you got to go far away.
Yeah, you got to go far away. It's good for like detail stuff or like maybe if somebody's doing something to like kind of focus in on what they're doing rather than like the space that they're in and
right. Let's talk specifically Fuji too, because they have some interesting focal lengths.
If nobody knows, Fuji is a crop sensor APS-C, so it's got the 1.6 magnifier on it.
Right. And I roll with a speed booster on my Zeiss lenses sometimes. So I mean, it's looking like full frame sometimes, but most of the time it's going to be that crop sensor, and it's great. I love the crop sensor.
Well, yeah, I love the crop sensor too. And like the thing about Fuji is they make their lenses for crop sensors, so they actually have the regular focal lengths in there rather than like buying a Canon crop and being like, all right, I'm gonna buy the 50 Canon, and then you have an 85. All of a sudden, you have no idea. You're like, okay, thanks a lot. Thanks a lot.
I really am kind of annoyed though. Like, so when I use the Zeisses are great, but when you adapt full frame lenses to the crop sensor without the speed booster, you actually get a little bit less resolution. Like the lens is built to resolve on a big sensor, so like when you crop into the center of that lens, sometimes it's not as sharp because it's meant to be the whole lens. So it's like if you zoomed into the picture and the lens was like slightly less.
So sometimes the edges are just kind of soft.
Yeah. Especially with those older lenses. The Zeisses don't do that, but yeah, I found that with some of the. I have a Canon 70-200 FG, so that's the vintage Canon, and like I think it's a little. It's not as sharp as it was on the full frame. So.
Yeah, I think now that you were talking about like specific Fuji lenses, I actually really like the 50 that Fuji just released, which is equivalent to about a 75. It's kind of a weird focal length.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is about it. There's just something weird. It's like it's really too close for how I like to take photos. But
right.
When I do have it on, I love the photos that come out of it.
Can you pull it up? Can you pull up a picture of it?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I need to get. I'm looking at trying to get another lens, but I don't know which Fuji lens to go for.
It's this one on the right here.
It's so long.
It's so long.
It's a long boy. We both have the 35 and the 23, right? You have that one too.
Yeah,
their lenses are just fucking so nice.
They're such good lenses.
The clicky aperture is so fun.
I mean the 50 is good for portraits and like kind of separating your subject. It's got enough compression to kind of isolate your subject a little more. But I don't know, for me and for you, I think the reason why we like the wide so much is just we're we grew up watching movies, and I always think about that and how, like, in the movies, like, everything's so, like, cinematic and big, and you really need a wide lens to create that kind of image where it feels cinematic.
Yeah, for cinematography, I mean, I'm not going to go really above, unless I'm getting a very specific shot from, like, really far away. Sometimes you do want to do it, and it creates a really kind of cool, compressed look, but most of the time, I'm going to be shooting between 18 and 35, and that's it.
Yeah.
Maybe 50 if I'm watching an event or something.
Yeah, it's just too close. I don't know why.
Yeah.
It's like I think The Revenant was shot like all on like a 16 millimeter or something.
Makes sense.
Yeah, it just gets super close. Like,
the only thing you got to watch out for is distortion, which I think they kind of wanted in that when you get close to the lens, but you do kind of distort the face a little bit, which can be weird. I was going to ask you specifically, how do you feel about the 14? Have you ever used it?
I've never used it. I can't say that it's gonna probably not that much different than the 16, other than it's a 2.8. But as far as like actual length, I hope you can.
Well, it's cheaper than the 16, which is what I was interested in.
Yeah, it's a 2.8 instead of a 1.4, so that's a huge difference. Like, it's crazy because with the 16, like, God, sorry guys if you can hear that cop. LA is just full of sirens.
Go film him.
You can. The thing with the 1.4 is you can obviously shoot at night, which is nice. It's really good for nighttime stuff. But just to be able to blur the background at 24, like if you're getting a picture of something, it's such a weird look. Like, because typically when it's wide, you kind of get everything in detail.
Well, that's that cinematic look that I was talking to you about. So like when I'm shooting video, I need to have an ND filter because you want that video to look cinematic. You got to have that background blurred out just ever so slightly. When you're shooting in the middle of the day, like we were shooting on a bright sunny day, you're not going to get that.
No,
just closing down. You close down past 4, and you completely murdered all depth of field.
Yeah, you need the depth. So. The depth is kind of one of the big reasons why I was so scared to switch to Fuji, because of crop and, you know, with the full frame, like.
You just got to stay wider. If you just stay wider, you can still get it, you know?
No, you can still get it, and that's what I learned, and I think it changed my photography, obviously, which is always good. So
I think full frame's a little bit of a crutch. I mean, people like it and it looks good, but
it's the truth. I think
you know that feeling when you get your full frame, you pop that super wide lens on it, or even just the regular wide lens like the 24, and then you get like right up in someone's face to take a picture, and it looks cool because it's super wide and it's super big and it's super easy to make that look hahappen. I think for video, full frame looks weird. I think it doesn't look cinematic because it looks GoPro-y, you know?
It's a little too wide, and like,
it's a little too much stuff you can see.
And the depth is almost too much for video.
It's too much.
Yeah.
When you get that super sliver depth of field, that's too much.
Yeah.
You can't keep somebody in focus anyway. Like you can nail a photo like that, but if I'm running and gunning, I want the background to be a little blurry, but I need enough space to keep focus in that situation. So I think crop has helped with that a lot because you can get that little bit of blur in the background.
Yeah, when it said, like, I think that's when I say that, like, my photography changes. Like on Canon, it was like, how do I blur the background out all the way?
As much as possible.
No background, subject isolation all the way.
Right. Now, and you don't need that much blur to isolate your subject. That's
now I want a lot. I want to be able to frame it to where like every piece of the picture matters, like type stuff. So.
Yeah, exactly. I will say too, like with video, I think that people jumped to full frame because like the Canon 5D was like one of the first really usable DSLRs in video, but original cinema cameras and cinematic film was a 35 millimeter film frame, and that film frame, it was even 35 millimeter on its side. So it was the size of an APCS, or maybe even a little bit smaller
I
from
think
an
it was
A.
smaller, the Super 35 or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, so that's what I mean. Like, that's what movies were shot on. And even when you think about, like, oh, there's these movies with shot on 70 millimeter film. 70 millimeter is full frame. So when somebody's shooting on a full frame, it's like they're shooting a 70 millimeter film. And when you shoot a 70 millimeter film, you are you have to do it right. You can't like everybody. Did you see Hateful Eight? That was shot on 70 millimeter.
Okay.
And it looked weird because it's like a drama where people talk in a cabin all day. So it feels weird to be shot on that.
That's true. Like the best 70 millimeter movie is like Baraka or whatever, and that's
Baraka,
all
Same Sorry,
like all like wide, like just fucking like I don't know.
Just tons of stuff in the shot, and it's great. I don't know if I ever told you, but Samsara was the when I became a vegetarian.
Nice. The food scene or what?
That fucking food scene, dude.
It's a beautiful part. I've showed that part 1,000 times.
The chickens?
Yeah,
when they're vacuuming up the chickens? Oh, God. I was like sobbing watching that part, and I was like, I can't do it anymore.
We got off topic of focal length, but
we went over to crop sensor, or to sensor size. But yeah, I think that we like wide. I think we go wide often, both of us, and I think that we're not doing nature photography, so I mean,
that's just kind of how it is. And like for photojournalism, like I want it to be wide, and I want to get as close to the action as possible. That's kind of my thing.
Unless you're paparazzi,
Just hide, shoot.
Hide in the bushes.
If you have any photo questions, please ask. Whatever. You
got stuff you want us to talk about? You got corrections? You want to tell us that we were wrong about focal length? Please do. I want to hear it. So, the last thing I wanted to mention. So this is just about Fuji lenses in general, but we can talk about this later. I really love the 14 I'm looking at, and I really love that fucking clicky.
Oh, you love the clutch.
The where you can click up the.
He likes the clicky.
The focus thing. And you can click it to manual, and then you can click back to, like, if they had 5 lenses in the set that were all that way, I would buy them all and put cinema gears on them. And
I'm wondering if they're gonna do that for the new set of lenses coming.
You could straight up, because then it also, when you click it back right, it has the hard stops, so it doesn't keep rotating. That's what you need when you shoot. So like all you could do is go, oh, I'm going to shoot this and pull focus myself, or I want to run on autofocus. Click, I'm running on autofocus.
They probably know that that's coming since H1 just came out and all that stuff.
That would be amazing if they had a set of Cine lenses like that. I would just love that. Yeah, there it is. Just click it up and then start rolling manual. Click it back, start rolling AF.
It's not the 14.
The 14 also goes to 22, which is weird. But anyway,
yeah, I think
I might get that 14. We'll see.
Might as well. That's it. Episode 2.
Okay. If you guys have anything you want us to talk about, hit us up. If you have any suggestions or critiques, hit us up down below in the comments. And I'm going to put the Instagram Pond Collective at Pond Collective on the Instagram. We're going to be posting on there. What else?
If you have story ideas, send them if you want to give them up.
We'll shout you out. You'll be part of the collective. So hit us up with any stories. If you want us to come cover something that you know of, let us know.
Maybe it's about you. Maybe it's about something about yourself.
Yeah, maybe you're the story. Also, subscribe.
Please
subscribe.
Love you.
Peace out.